My parents sent a watch to my husband for his birthday. I looked at it and went pale. "Don't touch it," I said. "What? Why?" he asked. "Don't touch it, please. It's a trap," I whispered. And I was right. We didn't shout. We did this. The next morning, my mom and dad got a letter each and started screaming. It came on a Wednesday. Regular cardboard packaging, nothing suspicious. Just a brown box with a shipping label and a little happy birthday sticker someone had peeled off a roll. We'd just finished dinner. Something boring and beige. Freezer pizza, I think. The kind of meal that leaves your teeth coated in quiet guilt. He was rinsing plates. I was wiping the counter. Then the doorbell rang, and there it was, the box. He opened it like you open socks. Curious, but not that curious. "Oh," he said. "Your parents sent me something." I glanced over. "Did they? That's nice." "A watch," he said, holding up the velvet box inside. Black, smooth, a little too perfect. It was one of those moments when your body knows something before your brain does. My stomach turned. Just a small flip, like a warning signal with a dying battery. I dried my hands slowly. He was about to open the box. Already had his thumb under the lid. "Don't touch it," I said. He looked over his shoulder. "What?" "Don't touch it," I repeated, louder this time. "Please, it's a trap." He stared at me like I'd just asked him to put the watch in the fridge. "What are you talking about? It's just a gift." I stepped forward, pulled a tea towel off the handle of the oven, and gently wrapped the box with it. I could feel the weight through the cloth. Dense? Too dense. "Let's just check something first," I said. He hesitated. "Check what?" "I don't know yet. Just something." He watched me place the wrapped box on the corner of the table like it might bite. He didn't laugh. That was when I knew he felt it too. Whatever it was. Maybe not the same shape of it, but the presence. The wrongness. We sat down. I pulled out my phone and took a photo of the watch box. Clean angle. Good lighting. Not for memory. For evidence. I started searching. Manufacturer. Logo. Box style. Serial number. Retailers. Prices. It didn't take long. "Look at this," I said. He leaned in. Blinked. $3,800? We both went quiet. No one in my family sends a $3,800 anything, unless it's a hospital bill or a desperate ask. My brother was still living with them until 6 months ago. He only just managed to scrape together a deposit for his first place. My parents? They weren't rich. Not even close. They lived on frozen vegetables and old habits. I'd been helping with their bills for years. Quietly. Automatically. Because that's what you do, right? So where did the watch come from? He sat back. Crossed his arms. Maybe they love me so much. They gave up paying the heating bill just to see me tell time in style. I didn't smile. Neither did he. Something shifted. Quiet, but final. The watch was too much, and I knew it. I didn't want to believe it. Not about my parents. But I thought I knew where the money had come from. And if I was right, then it was bad. Really, really bad. It wasn't a gift. It was a setup. If you ask my parents, they'll tell you they always treated us equally, which is true. If by equally, you mean I did everything and my brother got away with murder. Growing up, I was the one with lists, to-do lists, chore charts, college applications. My brother had ideas, mostly about how the world was unfair to gifted people who just hadn't figured out their gift yet. He dropped out of uni twice and once forgot he was enrolled. Meanwhile, I paid my parents' phone bills. Quietly. Automatically. Because that's what you do. That didn't change when I met my husband. If anything, it made things more complicated. He wasn't rich. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't even very tall, which my mother found disappointing. But he ran a small local charity that served hot meals to homeless people, and I fell for him the way you fall into a warm bed after years of standing. Fast, hard, gratefully. He started the charity with nothing. No family money, no investors, just some borrowed folding tables, a church basement, and too much heart for one person to carry. I started helping on weekends. At first, I peeled potatoes and handed out tea. Then I helped with the budget. Then I was there every spare minute I had. Eventually, we got married. The charity grew. Not fast, but steady. Word of mouth, community support, a few good donors who believed in what we were doing. We opened a second location, then a third, still shoestring, still humble, but it was working. We were helping people. And my parents noticed. They were heading into retirement by then. Not enough pension, not enough savings. My brother was still living at home, mostly playing with business ideas and forgetting to take the bins out. So we offered them something, a way to help. Part-time positions at the charity, admin work, outreach, event coordination. Nothing difficult. Nothing fake either. Just something small, manageable, and meaningful. It felt like a win-win. I thought we were all on the same side. 6 months ago, things shifted. My brother moved out, bought an apartment. Not rented, bought. He said he'd launched a tech startup. Something about intellectual property. Couldn't talk about it. NDAs, patents, hush-hush partnerships. I asked a few questions, then gave up. He never really understood tech, or business, or not lying to my face. He just kept saying it was going well. Very well. Around the same time, a new food supplier was brought in. It was my dad's idea. He came to us one afternoon with a folder under his arm and the satisfied look of someone who'd done something clever and wanted applause. "I found someone," he said. He'd done the research, he said, sampled the food, compared the prices. "Better than our current supplier," he said. "Healthier, cheaper, locally owned." My husband asked a few questions, looked at the numbers. They seemed fine. We trusted him. We signed the contract. 3 months in, the complaints started. It was quiet at first. A few people said the food was different, then worse. Then people got sick. Stomach cramps, vomiting. One man ended up in hospital, dehydrated. He'd eaten nothing else for 2 days. My husband was livid. I hadn't seen him like that before. He went full audit mode, called shelters, pulled invoices, demanded ingredients lists. What he found made him physically ill. They were substituting products, cheap meat for quality meat, expired canned goods, off-brand unlabeled produce, and they were charging us as if it were gourmet. He called a meeting with my parents, told them we were terminating the contract. They pushed back, hard. My mother said it was a misunderstanding. My father said people exaggerate. The invoices were clear, he said. The numbers made sense. Maybe the sick people had eaten something else? It was strange. Desperate. My dad got defensive, quick, said we couldn't just pull out of a deal over a few unhappy customers, said it would ruin relationships, said it would look bad. "We're running a charity, not a restaurant," he said. "Do you think Michelin stars matter here?" He was angry. Not just protective, not worried. Angry. The more they argued, the more it felt like something else was going on. Something beneath the surface. They weren't just defending a supplier. They were defending themselves. And then, just as my husband was preparing to send the termination notice, the box arrived. His birthday was that week. We weren't doing much. Takeaway and a movie. Maybe a walk if it didn't rain. When the parcel came, he thought nothing of it. Smiled. Said something about my mother finally remembering the date. It was a watch, wrapped in luxury, black velvet box. Heavy. Too heavy. He was about to touch it. I stopped him. You already know the rest. We didn't talk much the next morning. He made coffee. I burnt toast. Not on purpose, but I didn't start over either. It felt right. Blackened edges, quiet kitchen, two people thinking about the same thing without saying it. The box sat on the counter, wrapped up in the same tea towel I'd used the night before, still unopened, still untouched, still watching us. I wrote 2 letters, sealed them in envelopes. He didn't ask what I'd written. He already knew. He picked up the watch like it was ticking, not just literally, like it had wires and a countdown, used a fresh dish towel, held it by the edges, didn't touch the leather or the velvet or the box beneath it. He didn't even exhale until it was fully wrapped and back in its packaging. Then we got in the car. The drive was quiet. We weren't fighting. We weren't frozen. We were just bracing. It felt like the kind of silence you keep before a storm hits your windows. Not dramatic, just practical. At the charity office, my parents were already in. They were at their desks, pretending to be busy. I saw my mom reading the same email twice. My dad had spreadsheets open but was scrolling on his phone. Neither of them looked up when we walked in. We didn't stop at the main desk. We went straight to the staff room. Neutral territory, no clients, no audience, just fluorescent lighting and mismatched chairs. He handed them the box. I handed them the envelopes. My dad looked down at both, then at us. "What is this?" he said. "Open it," I said. They did. 2 printed letters. Polite. Formal. Immediate termination. 1 month's pay. No further engagement. My mom looked like she'd swallowed her tongue. "You're firing us?" she said. "Yes." "Just like that?" "Exactly like that." My dad stood. The chair scraped loudly against the linoleum. "We're your family." "Not like this," I said. He stared at me, like I was speaking another language, like I'd forgotten my role in the play. "We've done nothing wrong," he said. "No?" I said. I pulled out my phone, opened the browser, showed them the listing again. The watch. The price. "Want to tell me where that came from?" They didn't speak. "Why would you send that to him? You couldn't afford to fix the boiler last winter. I paid your heating bill." Still nothing. "So, I'll ask again. Where did the watch come from?" My dad shrugged. "It was a gift. A very expensive gift. We thought he deserved something nice, for all his work." My mom added, "You act like generosity is a crime now." "No," I said. "Just suspicious." They started talking over each other then, fast, defensive. "You don't know how hard it is. The supplier was solid. We were just trying to help your brother." That caught my ear. "What does this have to do with him?" My dad clammed up. My mom looked away. "Why were you pushing so hard for that company?" I said. "Why the desperation? Why the lies about food quality? People were sick. You know that." "They were exaggerating," my dad muttered. "One of them ended up in hospital." He didn't respond. "You had something writing on that contract, didn't you?" My mother snapped. "We didn't do anything illegal." My dad followed. "We just made a smart deal. You're the one making it ugly." I leaned forward. So that's where the watch came from. Neither of them corrected me. I felt my chest burn, not with rage, with the slow, sad heat of confirmation. "You knew what you were doing," I said. "And you gave it to him, knowing what it would look like, knowing what it could do to him if anyone found out." My mother crossed her arms. "It's not like we told him to accept it." "But you knew what it was." They didn't answer. "You put him in danger. You put the charity in danger. And for what?" "Do you want to be poor your whole life?" My dad shot back. Do you want to keep scraping by while people like that catering company make real money? People got sick. No one died. Yet. Silence. Then he said it. You care more about appearances than your own family. I nodded slowly, not because I agreed, but because I finally understood. No, I said. I care about right and wrong. And this was wrong. What you did was wrong. All of it. My mom looked like she might cry. I didn't. I need space, I said. A lot of it. No more calls. No more favors. I'm done. You don't mean that, my dad said. I looked him dead in the eye. I do. And I want you to leave. Now. They left. Not in a dramatic slam the door way. Just slow. Quiet. Like they knew something had shifted and they couldn't shift it back. I stood in the doorway and watched them walk away. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stayed there, holding the silence like it was something fragile. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like the daughter. I felt like the grown-up in the room. It started with pounding on the door, not a knock, a pounding, like someone meant to break it down or make a point. I opened it slowly. My brother stood there, face flushed, breathing hard like he'd sprinted across town in bad shoes. What did you do? He snapped. No hello, no preamble. Good morning to you too, I said. He looked past me. Is he here? My husband appeared behind me, silent, calm, but not smiling. Why don't you tell us what this is about? He said. My brother rolled his eyes. You know exactly what this is about. You're trying to ruin us. You're going to get us all killed. Well, that escalated. What happened? I asked, keeping my voice flat. You canceled the contract, he said. You were supposed to stay quiet. Just let it run. Now the deal's off and we've got people asking for their money back. Who? He hesitated. That half-second pause gave it away. What people? I asked again. He didn't say their names, but he said enough. They paid up front. Now the contract's dead and we didn't deliver. They want their money, all of it, and they're not exactly the kind of people who send polite emails. So let me get this straight, I said. You took money from someone to push a deal through, and now that deal is falling apart because we refuse to poison people with expired meat, and you're the victim? I didn't know the food was bad, he said quickly. Of course you didn't, I said. Because you never ask questions when money's involved. He folded his arms. I'm going to have to sell my apartment. You realize that? Maybe you shouldn't have bought it with money that wasn't yours. I was helping the family, he snapped. No, my husband said, finally stepping forward. You were helping yourself. There was a long, thick silence. Then my brother spoke again, lower now. If you bring the supplier back, this can still be fixed. We're not bringing them back, I said. You should think about what happens if you don't. Was that a threat? My husband asked. It was a fact, he said. We didn't slam the door in his face, but it was close. 3 days later, the posts started showing up. Anonymous accounts, old Facebook groups, local forums, even the charity's Google reviews. Did you know the manager drives a car worth more than your donations? Ask them where the Rolex came from. You think the homeless are getting fed? They're feeding themselves. One account posted the watch photo, blurry but unmistakable. Then came the messages to donors, the emails, the tagged posts, the hashtags. By the end of the week, 2 sponsors paused their donations. One event was quietly canceled. We met in the office late one night. My husband looked exhausted. The staff were rattled. Our volunteer coordinator was crying in the kitchen. I stood in front of the bulletin board and stared at the wall like it had answers. Then my phone rang. State Department of Charitable Oversight. I didn't even know that was a thing until that moment. They wanted to talk. Leadership review, anonymous tips, mismanagement concerns. They were very polite, which made it worse. I hung up and looked at my husband. He didn't ask what the call was about. I think he already knew. The next day, my parents called. Or maybe it was the brother using their phone. I didn't answer. Then the email came. Simple, short. No sign-off. If the supplier is reinstated and our positions restored, the attacks will stop. I read it 3 times. The 4th time, I laughed. Not because it was funny. My husband sat down next to me. "We should report it," he said. I nodded. "Let's do it tomorrow." We didn't sleep much that night. We went to the police the next morning. We brought everything. The emails, the supplier reports, the volunteer testimonies, the screenshots of the attacks. We told them about the contract, the pushback, the pressure, the veiled threats, the email. The officer who took our report didn't blink at any of it. "You're not the first," she said. "This kind of thing's becoming more common, but you did the right thing by coming in." I wanted to believe that. I wanted to believe we weren't already too late. I wanted to believe people still cared about the truth, even when it came in plain envelopes and smelled like reheated soup. As we left the station, I looked back at the door. It didn't slam behind me. It just closed. Quietly, deliberately, like we were walking into the next part of the story, the part where everything finally comes out. 6 months later, it was all over the news. Front page of the local paper, 2-page spread in a regional magazine, a radio segment even. The story had everything: a charity scandal, bribery, betrayal, and the twist no one saw coming: a daughter who turned in her own family. My parents were sentenced to 18 months in federal prison, conspiracy, fraud, bribery, $50,000 in fines, most of their savings gone. Their reputation? Non-existent. No more friendly nods at the post office. No more neighbors remembering them kindly. It was also proven in court that the watch had been part of the bribe, along with a payment of $15,000 funneled quietly to my father's account just weeks before the contract was signed. Money that, in the end, helped my brother with his apartment deposit. My brother got probation. 200 hours of community service. At a food bank of all places. The flat he bought? Seized. The business? Imaginary. He went quiet after that. The catering company collapsed. Their CEO got a year in prison. Fines, license suspension, public shame. The website vanished. Their name became a cautionary tale in industry circles. And us? We were cleared. Officially. Publicly. The regulator issued a statement. Donors came back. Volunteers returned. The board voted unanimously to reaffirm my husband's leadership. The staff kitchen had fresh coffee and fresh energy. I went back to work. Real work. Honest work. The kind that feeds people. The kind that keeps you grounded. The kind that reminds you, every single day, why you chose to stand where you did. Before I reported them, I thought it would haunt me. I thought I'd wake up at 3 a.m. with guilt clawing at my ribs. I thought I'd hear my mother's voice telling me I'd betrayed blood. But I don't. I sleep fine. Better than before, actually, because every day I walk into the shelter and see someone eat a hot meal. Every day I hear someone say thank you and mean it. Every day I see the people we're here for, the ones who matter, and I feel it. Peace. I did the right thing. Not the easy thing, not the painless thing, but the right thing. There's clarity in that. I haven't spoken to my parents. They sent a letter. I haven't read it. Not out of anger, just because it's over. Some things end, and that's okay, This morning, I walked into the kitchen and the radio was playing something light and silly. The bread was fresh. Someone spilled soup and laughed instead of apologizing. One of the new volunteers was teaching someone how to chop onions without crying. It was chaotic, loud, full of life. It was good, and it was ours. So now I'll ask you, did it go too far or not far enough? Leave a comment and subscribe for more.